Welcome students. My name is Ramen Singh Chauhan. Today we are going to study the topic bonding in solids. What is bonding? Bonding is attraction or interaction of two atoms. So here we will see that there are 5 types of bonding mechanism. One is ionic covalent, first is ionic bonding, second is covalent bonding, then metallic bonding, van der Waals bonding and hydrogen bonding. And we can say all bonding are consequences of electrostatic interaction between the nuclei and electrons. When we are taking two atoms of any metal or any solid, then how they are going to interact, what forces are they between them which are binding them or which are keeping them together. For that we will look into we will study the types of bondings, these 5 bonding one by one. So on the general basis we can say that these bondings are electrostatic interaction because there are electrons and protons and nucleons, but nucleons are neutral and electron and protons are having negative and positive charges respectively on them. So we can say that when charges are there, so there will be some interaction between the charges of one atom to the other atom, and those interactions are giving bondings to the solids, and on the basis of those interactions how they are going to interact, we will consider what are the types of bonding and these bondings how they are characterized and what are the things what are realizing these type of bonds. So first one is ionic bonding, and ionic bonding is the electrostatic force of attraction between positively and negatively charged ions between non-metals and metals. So we know that what are non-metals? Non-metals are those species which require electrons to complete their octet, and metals are those species which can donate their outermost orbits or valence shells electrons, and these are called metals. So in ionic bonding the attraction is between metals and non-metals, like there are negatively charged ions and positively charged ions, and the interaction between the electrostatic interaction or electrostatic force between these negatively and positively charged ions of metals and non-metals are called ionic bonding. All ionic compounds are crystalline solids at room temperature. The second point is that if we are taking the compounds which are having ionic bonds, then we can say at room temperature they all are crystalline solid, and we can consider one example which is a typical example of ionic bonding, that is NaCl. We will see what is or how ionic bond is formed in NaCl. So metallic elements only have up to valence electron. Like we know that here this is Na, the electronic configuration of sodium, that is Na, the scientific name is natrium, and Cl, that is chlorine. So electronic configuration of Na is that it is having 11 electrons. 11 electrons, then configuration is 1s2, 2s2, 2p6 and 3s1. So here we can see there are 2 electrons here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 electrons in the second orbit and 1 electron in the outermost orbit, that is the valence orbit. Here we can see that this is chlorine atom which is having 17 electrons. So the configuration is 1s2, 2s2, 2p6, 3s2, 3p5. So 3p6 and one more. So here we can see that there are 2 electrons here in the first orbit, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 8 electrons in the second orbit, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 and 7, 7 electrons in the third orbit, that is 3s2 and 2p5. Sorry, that is the correct configuration. In the outermost orbit of chlorine, there is one electron which can take place, one octet or one orbital is empty, that can have one more electron, and in sodium we can say there is one electron which is in outermost orbit that can be donated, and if this electron goes to chlorine, then this sodium atom will have positive charge because one electron is going to the other side. So net charge of proton will be +1, and here as electron is gained by this outermost orbit, the charge will increase. And so in this case we can say that in ionic bond, donation of outermost electron or electron of valence orbit is taking place, and in this way the other atom is accepting that electron. So here we can say that metallic elements have only up to the valence electrons in their outer shell. When losing their electron, they become positive ions. That I told, that when electron is gone, then net positive charge is there on the sodium, and electronegative elements tend to acquire additional electrons to become negative ions or anions, and this is chlorine is electronegative. So that is gaining that electron which is, or that is accepting that electron which is donated or which is loosed by the sodium atom. So now we can see that in this way this transfer of electron takes place, and sodium becomes positively charged and chlorine becomes negatively charged. Now here we can see that how this is happening, that when sodium and chlorine ions, Na plus and Cl minus ions approach each other closely enough, then the electrons begin to repel each other. Here we can see that in the beginning the electron which was here, it starts repelling because of electrostatic repulsion, because in chlorine there are electrons outside, and when they are approaching, that is going to that side, and then because of this repulsive force ultimately that combine together, and as the ions are coming closer, the repulsive force increase. So in this way ionic bond is formed. Now covalent bonding. We know covalent bond is what? Covalent bond in general is sharing of electrons. So we can say that electrons are being shared, and when we are talking of sharing, it means that there are atoms which cannot transfer or donate their electrons. Only thing is that they can share the electrons. It means they will be non-metals because they cannot transfer or donate their electron. So this type of bonding is between non-metals and non-metals. So covalent bonding takes place between atoms with small differences in electronegativity, which are close to each other in the periodic table. Means electronegativity, we are talking electronegativity, that is affinity to accept electrons in their outermost cells. So covalent bonding can occur between those atoms which are having a small difference in their electronegativity, and that means they are close in the periodic table, and these are general properties because we know non-metals are electronegative. So, we can say that this type of bonding is between non-metals and non-metals. The covalent bonding is formed when the atoms share the outer shell electrons, that is s and p electrons, rather than by electron transfer. That I told that in covalent bonding electrons are being shared. When electrons are being shared means the non-metals are involved, because in non-metals they cannot donate electrons, because if there is any species of atom which can donate electron, then that cannot form the covalent bond that will donate the electron, because when there any bond is formed in any bonding, the basic thing is that the octet must be filled, the outermost or valence shell must be filled. So, in that case we can have either the atoms can donate electrons to make their outermost shell filled, means they will have, when there is no electron in the outermost shell, then the penultimate shell will be completely filled, and in the other atom where they donated, they have tendency to accept the electrons, and so they will accept electrons and complete their outermost shell. Configuration of 8 will be attained, and so that will be completely filled. But here in this case covalent bonding, the electrons are being shared. The previous statement which I said, that was in relation to the ionic bond. Now when covalent bonding is there, the electrons are being shared, and when electrons are being shared, ultimately the outermost orbit or the valence shell is going to complete its octet, that is they are going to complete the number of 8 electrons by sharing. So, in that case we can say when the octet is completely filled, the outermost orbit is completely filled, that means that is configuration of noble gas, because we know when we are talking of noble gases, they are having their outermost orbit completely filled, the outermost or valence shell is completely filled in noble gas, and so they are called noble gases because they are having completely filled octet, they are inert. But here, since the outermost orbit is going to complete their configuration or is going to complete the cell by sharing of electrons, that is considered to be in a state of noble gas configuration. Now here we can see that how this sharing takes place. Each electron in a shared pair is attracted to both nuclei involved in the bond. Here we can say that these electrons are revolving around the nucleus, and when two atoms are coming closer, then these are attracted towards both the nuclei. This electron can get attracted to this one, and this second electron can be attracted to the first one. So, in that case this type of bonding take place, and thus one sharing of one electron take place. This we can see in the first case A, there is no interaction because they are at sufficient distance. In B, they are coming closer, attraction begins. In case of C, the covalent bond is formed, and in D, the force diagram is shown. So, in this way we can say how covalent bond is taking place. Now, we will compare the covalent bonding and ionic bonding. Here we can say in covalent bonding there is sharing of electrons. Here we can see that these are non-metals which are having one electron for sharing. In outermost orbit they are having valency of one electron, and when they are coming closer, they are sharing one electron of them to complete the octet, and in this way the covalent bond is formed. And in this case we can see there is, in ionic bonding there is transfer of electron. Here one electron is in outermost orbit of one atom, that is being transferred to the other atom which have valency for one electron, and thus positive ion is formed, and this in this case negative ion is formed, and this in this way because of transfer of electron this ionic bond is formed. Now metallic bonding we will talk about. Metallic bonding is bonding of metals, that the solids which we are considering generally, in those solids metallic bonding is formed, and this is a electrostatic force of attraction between positively charged ions and delocalized outer electrons. So here we know that when we are considering a solid or of a metal, we are not taking one or two atoms, but we are taking full metal which is comprised of large number of atoms. And when large number of atoms are there and closed packing is there, in that case what will happen? The electron in the outermost orbit, here we can see that the electrons of the outermost orbit, they are not bound to their individual nuclei, but they are also attracted towards the nuclei which are at a further distance in the metal. Means the electrons will get delocalized from their orbit, and when electrons will get delocalized, they will not they will become free electrons. They will not only related, or they will not only be contained for that one particular atom, but they will act as a free electron, and these free electrons will be shared between all the atoms of the metal. They will not be shared with two closest neighbor, but any free electron can be shared with any atom of the metal. Here we can see that these free electrons are being shared with all the atoms. This one is shared between this and this. So in this way this type of metallic bond is formed, and this type of metallic bond is weaker than the ionic and covalent bond, and a metal may be described as a low density cloud of free electrons. Here we can see that these free electrons are not in large density, they are in low density. Means the density or number of free electrons is not large in that particular metal, and metals have thus high electrical and thermal conductivity because they are having free electrons for conductivity. So metals will have high thermal as well as electrical conductivity because these free electrons will take part. Here in this second diagram we can consider that there are free electrons, and these free electrons are being shared. This positive ion, this is comprising the atom less than, which is having one delocalization of electron, and so this is a positive ion. So these ions are fixed, and these electrons are revolving, or these are shared, they are free and they are shared between all the metal. So in this way we can say that these electrons are free electrons and they form a sea of electrons, that we will consider later on what is sea of electrons and how the name is, new names are given, that we are not going to discuss here. Now the fourth type of bonding, that is van der Waals bonding. We know that when there is no other bonding exists between atoms, atoms, then there is van der Waals bonding. These are weak bonds with a typical strength of 0.2 electron volt per atom. Van der Waals bonds occur between neutral atoms and molecules. Means they are formed, the van der Waals bonds are occurring between the atoms and molecules of inert gases, because there no other bonding is possible in inert gases. So whenever there is no other bonding, then van der Waals bonding is there. It is a weak bonding. Weak forces of attraction result from natural fluctuation in the electron density of all molecules that cause small temporary dipoles to appear within the molecules. Here these are due to the weak attraction because of electron fluctuations in electron density fluctuations of the molecules and atoms, and in this way when electron density fluctuation take place, a temporary dipole, that is separation of or existence of positive and negative charge centers, appears temporarily, and because of these temporary dipoles, the big force of attraction results, and that is called the van der Waals force. It is these temporary dipoles that attract one molecule to another, and such type of force is called van der Waals force. Here the shape of a molecule influences the ability to form temporary dipoles. Long thin molecules can pack closer to each other than molecules that are more spherical. Bigger surface area of a molecule, the greater the van der Waals forces will be, and the higher the melting and boiling points of the compound will be. That depends on surface area also in this way. And van der Waals forces are of the order of 1% of the strength of covalent bond. So we can say how big this van der Waals force is. Now, when we are considering in van der Waals bonding, homonuclear molecules means same type of molecules are there, such as iodine. They develop temporary dipole due to natural fluctuations of electron density. And if we are considering heteronuclear molecules, means the molecules which are not formed by the same species, such as HCl, here hydrogen is there and chlorine is there, they have permanent dipoles that attract the opposite pole in their molecules. Now these forces are due to the electrostatic attraction between the nucleus of one atom and the electron of the other. That is the common thing we know, that electrostatic attraction formed between positive and negative charges. Here nucleus of one is attracted towards the electrons of the other. So van der Waals interaction occurs generally between atoms which have noble gas configuration. We know that this is in this van der Waals bonding, these are existing between the molecules of noble gases. So we can say that when outermost orbit is filled, then in that case there are no other bonding possible, and in that case van der Waals bonding is there. We can see the van der Waals bonding here in the inert gases. A hydrogen atom. Now the fifth one is hydrogen bonding. A hydrogen atom having one electron can be covalently bonded to only one atom. Means we know that in hydrogen bonding, what is hydrogen bonding? There is additional bond of hydrogen is formed. If we are considering an H2O molecule, in a H2O molecule, what is there? That hydrogen is attracted, or that is making bond with two oxygens. But this hydrogen is having some affinity towards this electronegative oxygen also. And so in that case, when two molecules are there, then hydrogen can make a bond between the electronegative oxygen, and such type of bonding is called hydrogen bonding. So this bonding is additional bonding, and so we can say this type of bonding is hydrogen bonding. So here what is there? A hydrogen atom having one electron can be covalently bonded to only one atom. However, the hydrogen atom can involve itself in an additional electrostatic bond with a second atom of highly electronegative character, such as fluorine or oxygen. This second bond permits a hydrogen bond between two atoms or structures. The strength of hydrogen bonding varies from 0.1 electron volt to 0.5 electron volt per atom. Here hydrogen bonds connect water molecules in ordinary ice. Hydrogen bonding is very important in proteins and nucleic acids, and therefore in life processes. So now we can see the types of bonding, that is ionic bonding, van der Waals bonding, metallic bonding, covalent bonding and hydrogen bonding. We can see in ionic bonding, they are having high melting point, they are hard and brittle, non-conducting solids, NaCl, CaCl, ZnS, these are few examples. Van der Waals bonding, low melting points, soft and brittle, non-conducting because no free electrons are there. Neon, argon, krypton, xenon, these are types of van der Waals bonding, examples of van der Waals bonding. Metallic bonding, they are having variable melting points, variable hardness, they are conducting. Ferrous, cuprous, argentinum, that is iron, copper and silver. These are examples of metallic bonding. Covalent bonding, that is very high melting point, very hard, usually not conducting. For example, diamond, graphite. Hydrogen bonding, that is low melting points, soft and brittle, usually non-conducting. Ice, organic solids, etc. So this is for bonding. These are few properties of these the metals which are having different types of bonding. So this is all for today. We will cover our next topic in next class. Thank you.